position, I think, consistent. She actually was kind of about
but he did live to see some fruit born of all his effort. Secondarily, and the most productive part of this exhibition comes from NACO's North American Conference on Ethiopian Jewry. Two representatives are here. I'm very happy to answer lots of questions that you may have. The gallery space itself is through the efforts of Rabbi Kozlo, who is right here, our Rabbi Emeritus, and I welcome any words from him. What else can I tell you?
Mention the books that are in the...
In the gift shop, there are books written by Grainenberger which describe his struggle to find recognition for this group. We have also with us today two students. I think they're upstairs.
I'm trying to find, they're not upstairs, so I'll find them.
They will be here sometime during the time we're here. Two students who have been sponsored by this congregation to get college educations and to move into their places in the Society of Israel. So they have been brought here too through the auspices of the Brotherhood and through the efforts of the Social Concerns Committee, Social Action Committee. So this is an exhibition which is really a collaboration between several arms of this synagogue, the Judaica Gallery, the Social Action Committee, and the Brotherhood. And so we thank you all for coming. There are booklets on the wall that give you a brief overview of the story, which is portrayed through picture and artifact in the cases and on the walls. Please avail yourselves. Would you like to say something?
Well, first of all, thank you all for coming out. On Ethiopian Jewry was founded in 1981 for the sake of helping Ethiopian Jews get out of Ethiopia and resettle in Israel. And so we run a number of programs, and we continue to help the Jews still remaining in Ethiopia. There are about 26,000 still left. And in Israel, our focus is on making sure that Ethiopian kids get a good education, so that the two students that are here somewhere in the building are being sponsored through NACOJ, through our college sponsorship program. And I would hope that before everybody leaves today, we have a little table over there with our literature for our college sponsorship programs, for our high school sponsorship programs, our bar bat mitzvah twinning programs, our embroidery program, and actually a number of our embroideries are on display in the gift shop, and perhaps most importantly, our lunch program. That's an example of our embroidery. We have a lunch program in Ethiopia because the conditions today are awful, and so children are starving. And so we started a lunch program to feed Ethiopian children in our compounds in Addis and in Gondar lunch, and we've been able to do that at 15 cents a day. And it's been literally saving lives. And so for everybody here who's enjoying the exhibit, don't forget that there are still Jews left in Ethiopia and that we are in a position to help them and that we're under a moral obligation to help them. So I just wanted to, please, before you leave, take the literature, look at it, and if you have any questions, if they don't come to mind here, then please feel free to call our office and ask. Do you have a question? How does UJA participate on this issue? I'm going to refer to David Levy.
We have in Israel from the UJA Federation of New York. We do receive funds from about 26 federations from across the United States. UJA Federation in New York gives us to the tune of about $140,000 for Israel, predominantly. In Ethiopia, well, the money for Israel is from the educational department of the UJA Federation. We do receive emergency grants from the Cleveland Federation, from the Los Angeles Federation, from the Mariah Fund, from the Mazon Foundation, and others to feed the people in Ethiopia. We spend approximately $975,000 to feed, clothe, and educate in Ethiopia.
David, our students are here.
This is Engedau and Ilana. They both go to Haifa University, and they're being sponsored through the NACO College Sponsorship Program. And the Westchester Jewish Center was very kind enough to bring them over to experience New York for about a week and a half. So certainly, you know, if you're, I mean, you know, when we're all walking around here, please feel free to strike up a conversation. I hope you guys don't mind. So this is Engadao and Ilana. And basically, thank you for coming out here, and I'm going to give this over to Terry.
I want to tell you, too, that any purchases that you make at the gift shop of the embroideries or the books, a percentage of that does go to Nekoj's efforts, both in Israel and Ethiopia.
Okay. I just wanted to remind everybody to please clear the date, March 19th, which is a Sunday.
A magnificent presentation of literature and design by the unusual and fantastic Terry Trieger, as usual. She always credits myself and Marley with the gallery idea and so forth. Even the idea wasn't ours. A dear friend of ours, Biddy Kramer, was the donor for this gallery and surprised me and Marley and the congregation. From its very inception, it's been a tremendous, tremendous and wonderful addition to the culture of the center here. This presentation this weekend will continue how long?
Until the end of March.
The end of March. But periodically, every month or two, there's a different, entirely different presentation of art, literature, and what have you. And so we're very grateful to Terry and to the idea of a gallery, a Judaic gallery, and it has made its way across the country, I understand, in terms of the awards that we received. Marley and I were in Israel how many years ago when we saw a section of Ethiopian Jewry at a school there, Mevaseret Zion, right? Is there still a school there? Mevaseret Zion? School for Ethiopian children? I don't know. It was the only school at that time.
It was an absorption center outside of Jerusalem.
Right, but there also was a school there beside, and we also were there at the day of an Israeli parade, and units of Ethiopian young Jews marched in this parade with the other units of the army, and they're usually very handsome, and these two are, usually very beautiful in the ladies and handsome in the men, and these are wonderful examples of what we saw there, and they marched beautifully in unison, and that was our first view of Ethiopian Jewry for Marley and I. Of course, since that time, we've been there many times, and we've seen them in different operations. And so, once again, Terry, you want to be applauded. Let's give her a good hand. She doesn't get this hand in. And also to the person taking films here, who's a member of our center, not Ethiopian, I don't believe.
Artie Sealing for him.
I know, Artie Sealing, I bar mitzvah Artie Sealing for him. So I should remember him pretty well. I do hope that you take in the morning viewing. It takes a little time to walk around the gallery here with the fine exhibit. So spend some time here. There's refreshments I see to the right. And I do know that this is the first effort of its kind here that we've had here. These awards were last night. Forget about them. There's a wonderful, what is it, the Bible there?
Yes.
There's a Bible in Ethiopian language?
Yes.
And that caught my eye because I usually can read the Bible easily, and I found some difficulty with this one. Have a great morning. We thank everyone for coming, and we do hope that this is the first in a series of meetings on behalf of our brethren in Ethiopia and in Israel. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rabbi. Ilana, would you like to say a few words?
Okay.
My name is Ilana.
Okay.
It works, but it works in that.
Okay. My name is Ilana. I just want to thank for all the people that they support us. I want to tell you that's very, very important for us, for my sister and children in Israel. And also, I want to say that's our pleasure, this exhibition. And thank you. You can't ask us everything that you don't understand here, and we will be ready to explanation. Thank you very much.
Myra, would you come forward? And Ruth? Okay, Myra and Ruth. Jane, please. Jane.
First of all, sorry about my English. And my name is Engido Yakov. Thank you very much. It is very emotional to see Jews in New York that never knowing about Ethiopian Jewish interested to us. It is very amazing. Even it is very emotional. Me, the pictures that I saw on the well. Even I saw my villages there. It is very difficult. Thank you very much.
A very hard-working committee.
How they kept all the hundreds of thousands of years. Can you imagine that?
Oh, Terry was going to put that back. Maybe it's not working.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it's
Kesher is a bridge and Kesher is beautiful work. Beautiful back to work.
Anyway, you've got something to look forward to next year.
Ilana, what is this a village that looks like a village that where your family came from? And tell us what it is made of and how it might be distinguished as a Jewish village.
First of all, it seems like that. Most of the house, and it's make from grass and make a wood, just from wood and grass. The Jewish people, most of the Jews was make a Star of David to sign that's house Jews, and also on the synagogue, when they built synagogue, also they put a Star of David, Magen David, to sign. So everyone knows that's a village of Jews.
And would this be a home for one family?
It can be one family, one big family. I think it's a big house also, yeah. But often they build two house because they cook in another home, and they here just to get gas, yes, and sleep, yeah. Because we were fire from wood, and the smoking can be dirty, so we build.
The smoke with the fire and the cooking and everything stays in one place, separate from where you sleep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's all. All cows or donkeys also live around of the house. They also making something like that to keep them.
Like a fence.
Like a fence, yeah. So everyone in the morning wake up and go to milk. I don't know how to
Milk the cows.
milk the cows, and then everything start school or to the agriculture, the field. It was their life in Ethiopia. So when we arrived to Israel, it was different. It's how the water is inside in the house, because in Ethiopia we was go out and bring ground in. So it was very, very difficult. Then for old people, it was very difficult. So language, culture, everything. But now we are.
Your father and your mother are used to this now too, to this life.
If they like.
Do they? Yes.
Yeah, because it was our dream. My grandfather was so told that we are not belong here. Our country is Jerusalem, Israel. So they glad to arrive to Israel, even it's difficult for them in language, everything. They said it's for you, it's your future. It's okay. They can't to give up everything for the children, to the generation, new generation. So we try to go school and high school. They push us because they tell we didn't was lucky to do that before. You have now, so go on.
And how old were you when your family came?
I was 12 years old. Yeah, but I remember everything from Ethiopia. Maybe I do idealization now, but I also remember everything. And I want to go there to visit, just to see where I was. But let's see in the future, maybe. Thank you.
This is channel 12, isn't it? The Spanish channel?
Her name is Hannah. In the Amharic is Abarash. I was so surprised to see her here. It's a little world. I can't imagine to see her. I also meet a picture of my grandfather, but in another side. So for me, I'm excited to see her.
What's your sister's name?
Her name is Hannah. Now she's in the army. She teach Hebrew for a soldier and a group of children.
Is this your village?
Well, no, I didn't. But it is in Israel, and they're making something. I don't know explain to Hebrew. Here, I think maybe when they celebrate Sigid, that's the holiday that we celebrated. Everyone take Torah or Orit, Torah, yeah. This or Orit. Orit is the name of holy language of the Ge'ez, from the Ge'ez. Ge'ez is the language. It's not Hebrew.
Oh, really?
It's not Amharic. It's a different. Just to pray. That's a Ge'ez. Just the Kessi rabbis know that. I didn't understand Ge'ez.
Oh, but they don't use Hebrew in it.
Now my father now to pray in Hebrew also, but in Orit also write different, but it's the same. Adonai, everything's it's same. Just the language is different. It's in Jerusalem, I think. I don't know where it is.
This is Terry Trigger welcoming you once more to the Rabbi Irving and Marley Koslow Judaica Gallery at the Westchester Jewish Center in Mamaroneck. We have on exhibition a wonderful new show called The Jews of Ethiopia from King Solomon to Operation Solomon and Beyond. We're going to review it somewhat historically for you now. Okay. Most of the things in this case were contributed by the widow of Granum Berger, who for decades made the saving of the Ethiopian Jewish community his life's work. And Emma will be here to speak with you at the opening. On the top shelf, we have in the center the rooftop decoration of the synagogue as it was in Ethiopia. The picture on parchment to its left is that of an Ethiopian kes, or high priest, covered with an umbrella which signifies honor or royalty. The clay figures on the bottom are made in Ethiopia. You can see just above them, you can see a person demonstrating her wares, and a great treasure is to the right of that. Can you zero in, please, on the Orit, or the Ethiopian Bible? Does it look to you like Hebrew? It's not Hebrew. It's the 5 books of Moses written on parchment in the ancient language of Ge'ez, which is the precursor of Amharic, the spoken language in Ethiopia today. This book was made and gifted to Granum Berger. There are several books written by him on the lowest shelf, and a book suggesting the realization of his dream in the center, showing an Israeli child and an Ethiopian child in Israel, finally brought home to Israel. Okay. This wall demonstrates life in the Ethiopian villages. We see the kes, or the priest, dressed in white, reading from his Orit there, and we see some of the elders of the community with him. There's also a wonderful celebration which is continued now in Israel, which is particular only to this group of Jews, the Beta Israel's Seged celebration. It's a unique pilgrimage holiday where one prays for a return to Eretz Yisrael. They all climb a mountain, and there they pray, and they all come down the mountain, and it's like a river in white descending from the mountain. It's quite a remarkable thing to see. We also see them in their village, and we see them in their classrooms. Through the Nekoj Society, which is the North American Council on Ethiopian Jewry, they are being educated in Ethiopia in preparation for their emigration to Israel. An embroidered Ethiopian dress. It represents some of the handcrafts which are promoted by Nekoj to give these people a livelihood, and the designs are traditional and very, very lovely. The clay figures also are something recent in their society, but these activities are encouraged to help them sustain themselves. On the bottom shelf, there is a leather carrier, and there is a photograph of a child being carried in such, what would you call it? I'm going to pick it up for you so you can get an idea of this leather carrier. This case features some of the handcrafts that are done by the Beta Israel. I've called them Ethiopian Jews. I've called them Beta Israel. They refer to themselves as Beta Israel, from the house of Israel. These crafts we see very sophisticated weaving in straw. This is this is a food container at the top. And there are some charming little dolls on the second shelf showing the various activities that are part of daily life in Ethiopia. You will see an example of the weaving. You'll see examples of embroidery. Some of these are available for purchase. You ready? Last spring, Granenberger, after many years of fighting the cause of saving the Ethiopian Jews, he passed away. And we thought that it would be a wonderful thing to make this show in memory as a tribute to the efforts of Granenberger's life work. Let's go on a stroll through an Ethiopian village. What you have before you is a compound with 3 tiku, or thatched huts. This is the typical home of the Ethiopian Jews. The difference between the villages of Ethiopian Jews and Ethiopian Muslims have to do with the proximity to water, because ritual bath is a necessity for Ethiopian Jews who practice an almost biblical Judaism. Always their villages are located near water. Here we see 2 children fetching water from a nearby stream. Oops. 75,000 Ethiopian Jews now live in Israel. And they are being schooled, they are learning Hebrew, they serve in the military, there has been a doctor, a lawyer, no Indian chief that I know of, but they are successfully integrating into the society. Note the convivial relationship between these 2 children, the enthusiasm and warmth and openness of the faces. And we have marriage. This is a chief rabbi in Israel performing the wedding for an Ethiopian couple within Israel. And that's the future of the Ethiopian Jews. Here we have embroidery workshops set up by Nekoj, and we have framed for you 4 lovely examples of what it is they are embroidering. So you want to see those. Let's test you on your Bible story knowledge. Here is Jacob's ladder, the angels going up and down. They're very charming. And then Moses in the bulrushes. And here's the dividing of the Red Sea.